Are you Egyptian?
I am Egyptian.
Salam alaikum.
Please don't say that. Please don't.
Shalom aleichem.
Yes, that I accept because there is a difference between conceptually what it means for you as a Jew
Yeah.
and what it means when it's coming from a Muslim.
So are
It's
you
completely different concept.
Christian, Coptic, Jewish,
I'm Christian, Reformed Christian.
Reformed Christian? Were you born Christian or
No.
Murtad?
Oh yes, proudly, proudly.
So, what took you out of Islam?
Okay, between the public information in Islam and the actual reality, they are completely distinct. Like you start with almost everything Muslims know about Islam is from the founding document is not real. The whole idea, for example, start with the most famous one, Islam means peace. If you study history and I know you know enough about it, it's a crime scene. Like Abu al-Abbas al-Saffah,
Yeah.
the guy eating his food over dead bodies, and then he says, this is the nicest meal I had in my life, and then dig out the Umayyadin from the grave and beat them up and the corpse and then burn them. And then you can go from that to whichever one, and then the effect they did in I don't know how many civilization and languages in the region Islam destroyed, including my own. The Coptic is gone. It's liturgical language, the Berber, the Chaldean, the Assyrian, the Phoenician. So, and it's a system that's incoherent, internally contradictory, and you actually have to be extremely selective in accepting and rejecting. I haven't met a single Muslim in my life, including my family member, who is willing to logically accept the conclusion of Islam, because there is.
What do you believe the conclusion of Islam is?
If you're going to take it's the precept correctly, so let's talk about the 90% Sunni. Logically, you have to carry on warring against every single person until everyone is submitted to you. And logically, if there is extraterrestrial life, we have to fight those as well. Like
So,
because the Quran literally say, I know you know Arabic. يا أيها الذين آمنوا قاتلوا الذين يلونكم من الكفار. Fight those who are next to you of the infidels.
yeah.
Oh, when you finish with those, there is the next one. When you finish with those, the next one, and on and on and on it goes. It's like, really?
And
And finally,
sorry,
gone.
finally.
No,
Okay, yeah,
uh,
do it finally, and then I'll ask my question.
yeah, if it actually, every single belief system must answer the most basic question, because we're talking
Yeah.
is how did we get here? Because we disagree sometimes. What's the problem? How you solve the problem? How it end in Islam? I don't see the idea of drinking and fornicating for eternity to be actually appealing.
Yeah.
Sounds like if that paradise exists, I'll pass.
And so
Sorry.
this is my question is so I can very easily see how someone who has left Islam would arrive at the conclusions you've arrived at. But 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever it was that when you were deep in it, how did you relate to all the ayat and the concepts that you're describing? So fight those that
Didn't
are
know it.
next to you. You didn't know it.
Didn't know it. Because, this is not a claim. We can go
Yeah.
through it statistically, by the way. Over 90, probably close to 97% of the Muslim globally have no clue what Islam teaches. Why? Until very recently, every single translation of hadith, and you know that, is mistranslation in some places. So unless you know classic Arabic, you really don't know it. So within the Arabs, we have how many now? 200 or 300 million Arabs, Arabic speaking. And out of those, if you take, say, 10% illiterate, so we're talking about 250 million, those who know classic Arabic are even minority of that. And those who will spend the time to read Ibn Kathir, Ibn Taymiyyah, Al-Bukhari, Al-Qaradawi, Al-Tabari, and all the rest are even minority of that. So the people who actually spend the time to read all this are extreme minority. The rest of them, they know it as much as European Roman Catholic in Middle Ages knew about Christianity. They know what the priest tell them. So once I started studying, reading it for myself, it's like, yeah, there isn't a single thing I was told at school or we was told in general that's actually turned out to be correct. Starting from, we only have one Quran. That's not true. You know, oh, the Quran is perfectly preserved from the time of Muhammad. That's not true. We have, and on and on and on and
Because
on it
the
goes.
initial
So
question, what was the
it's,
initial doubts? What were the initial doubts for you?
I don't know if you know that hadith or not, when one of in Sirah, Muhammad saying to an older man, "اغزوا تغنموا بنات الأصفر."
No.
Raid so you can gain the daughter of the yellow people, the blondes. So it's like so your motivation is not uh, go and tell these people about this wonderful religion we have. It's like go and loot them.
Take the women, yeah.
You know, that's what they did in Egypt. That's what they did in everywhere.
No,
So
there's no argument for
so I
me. And I,
spent about a year and a half actually reading the footnotes, like not picking up a year in Tabari, but reading a Tabari, all 22 volumes of it.
yeah.
You know, going to read things like, you know, do you read Arabic?
No, I've
Okay,
got very weak Arabic.
like Ahkam Ahl al-Dhimma, the ruling of how Islam treats the people, and
Yeah.
it's not written. It's written by their scholars. Like, okay, dude, uh, we've been played. That's the Islamic section.
Where should somebody who is wanting to get a balanced understanding of both what Islam teaches and how it's practiced, what is a good place for people who are watching this today to go to? Where would you advise they go? Because I can tell you what I do. What I do is
Okay.
not the right thing to do. I look in the sources. So I go to the primary sources, whether it's Tabari, whether it's Bukhari, whether it's Quran, whether it's Asira, and I look for subjects that interest me. And so I'll find confirmation
Hmm.
bias. What's going on with the
Yes.
Jews? What's going on with the slaves? What's going on? And
Okay. Eh, the problem with that, you have several kind of Islam that exist and completely unrelated to each other. You have the culture Islam, which is the majority of people you would run into. That's what they are. It's their culture identity. And if you ask them to recite you a single surah in the Quran, you know, it's like, I don't know what that means. And if you cite to them hadith from Bukhari, it's like, I don't accept that. It's like, okay, I was talking with someone in real life, and I'm quoting Bukhari. I said, I don't accept that. I said, that makes you a kafir according to the majority. Rejecting Bukhari, according to Sunni scholars, makes you murtad. That
Yeah,
so you cannot say I reject Bukhari and I'm a Muslim. Doesn't work this way. But so those are one group, and I would have to deal with them as you deal with kids. When someone says I'm a nice Muslim, it's like, okay, I'll hold you to this.
yeah,
Okay, then you have to act nice, not say it. Oh, I like peace, then you have to act accordingly. Then you have the founding document Islam is, that's when you use it when you argue with someone,
yeah,
because I really don't care how you feel. It's like, oh, I feel we should be at peace with everybody. Sorry, dude. If that's what you feel, if that's what you believe, there is no place for you in Islam, because that's not the teaching. Like when you started, you said Salam alaikum. I said, I hate that,
yeah,
because you know intentionally what it means in Islam is, I'm not going to kill you.
Yeah.
because Muhammad said in Bukhari لا تبدأوا اليهود ولا النصارى بالسلام وإن
Yeah.
لقيتموهم في طريق فاضطروهم إلى أضيقه. Don't salute Jews or Christian, and if you meet them in the way, push them to the
Awesome.
narrow side of the road. So he is religiously, he's commanded not to tell you as a Jew, Salam
Yeah.
alaikum. So because it really doesn't mean peace to you at all. It means, something else. So, but
So actually,
for
just
someone
on
who
that,
does,
just for my audience,
yes,
because I've made
yes,
many videos on Salam Alaikum. It's one of my favorite things to do is to greet
yeah.
Muslims with Salam Alaikum because it gets very varied responses. Could you just explain that further? Could you break down what it means when a Muslim wishes a Muslim Salam Alaikum, and then why they refuse to give Salam to Al Kitab, the people of the book?
Okay, because it's basically it will be considered offering you a treaty. There is peace between us. We are not gonna harm you. But when for a non-Muslim, Muslim are commanded not to start you by saying to Jews and Christians, "Salamu alaikum." And if you said to them, Salamu alaikum, the ones who understand Islam, they said, Wa alaikum,
Yeah,
because they don't trust you, wishing them peace. Because Muhammad, Aisha, said to
yeah,
Muhammad, the Jews, when they come and greet you, they said, Salamu alaikum, which it means nothing in Hebrew, but anyway. So for modern Muslim, we said it just means hi. No, it doesn't. It's a religious act to mean your life is sacred from us. And that's not offered to non-Muslim because by default your life is not sacred. There are a hierarchy of life within Islam. We don't rank on the same level ontologically. So it doesn't mean what people think. Hi, it means I'm not going to kill you.
and so then is the inverse true? Do you believe that there is an is there an obligation to be in a state of war with the kuffar with al kitab if there's no treaty?
Absolutely. The verse I quoted to you early, قاتلوا الذين يلونكم من الكفار, fight those who
Those
are
are near.
next to
Yeah,
you, and
yeah,
yeah, near. And as long as there is kuffar near, you fight them. The irony is when I know you probably hear that a lot. Oh no, we only fight those who either prevent us from spreading Islam or fight us. The irony is that actually early Muslims were not allowed, because Muhammad said so, were not allowed to take the Quran to non-Muslim country. So you're spreading Islam, but you're not allowed to take the Quran. So I'm in Egypt. I don't speak Arabic. We were Copt, and you're coming to me to spread Islam and a language and a religion that's explicitly must be performed in Arabic. You said, oh, but I'm not going to show it to you, and you cannot study it until you become a Muslim. Okay, what
and
if I don't? I'm going to kill you.
even if you then
It's
do
like,
become a Muslim in the early days, there was the you became a Mawli, which was a lower level, if I understand correctly. So there was the Arab Muslims. There was a racial hierarchy, and if you were Arab, you were on a higher level, and then all of the
it depends,
converts were.
and there is different Arabs and the different hierarchy with Arabs because they have al-Ashraf as well, the descendant of Muhammad.
Yeah,
And the irony, there is a very interesting book in Arabic. It's called عائلات وقبائل الأشراف في الأردن وفلسطين. It's the noble family in Jordan because they were getting paid stipends from the Ottomans, so they had to register their family lineage. So quite a lot of tribes you have, guys, is their lineage is date back to Hijaz.
yeah,
That's when they came, where they came, and you have the family tree and everything. But hey, they've been there since the time of Canaan, apparently.
yeah.
Is-
Do
is-
you think
is-
there's an argument that Islam has evolved, the Muslims have evolved? So if you go to
Islam cannot,
Muslims,
Muslims can evolve, Islam can't. Because two reasons. You already have the door is closed, like something as a Jew. You have in every single legal system and philosophy you have the normative and the situational and then the existential. So you have the 10 commandments for you are the normative,
yeah,
and then you have the if then the casuistic laws explain to you what happened. Those are situation, or in common law will be, in Britain common law will be
Yeah.
called case laws. And so your law by design, it's always evolving, because I give you the normative, that's what you shall not do. Don't murder. Then you have to go, is every life taken is a murder? What's the definition of murder, and so on. Islam closed that door because it considered any innovation to be bid'ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So,
Muhammad says, كل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. So
so,
it's
so,
already the innovation and reformation is considered to be in hell.
so
And
I
we
agree with what
have
you're
we
saying.
have yeah, last sentence, we have couple of historical, couple of cases where people try to reform Islam, and they actually reform it themselves out of Islam. Ahmadi, Baha'i, Druze, Quran only. And guess Ahmadi and Baha'i and Druze, Ahmadi and Baha'i, they are illegal in every single Muslim country. They are illegal in every Middle Eastern country except one.
Uh, Here. So,
So Ahmadi are the second in 1977 Pakistan constitution actually made Ahmadi illegal in the constitution.
and so you're not going to get any pushback on me in that area. What I would push back on
I
Sunni,
know, I know. No,
no,
push back, please.
because the Muslims aren't here to defend themselves, so I'm going to take on the role. And because I'm not
Sure,
Muslim, I'm going to take one of the most controversial subjects and show how there's
good.
been a degree of reform. So, in Sahih Bukhari, Sunan Abu Dawud, Sahih Muslim, basically
الكتب
every
الستة. Okay,
yeah,
الكتب الستة.
everything, yeah.
No, it's called الكتب الستة
Okay,
because there are 6 volumes. Those are the more authentic for Sunni.
yeah. And
Uh,
Aisha gives her age as being 6 when she marries, and 9 when the marriage is
mhm,
consummated. A very interesting word to use for a relation between a 50-year-old man and a 9-year-old woman. Consummation. It wouldn't be called
54.
50. It would not be called consummating in British law today. But okay, they consummate the marriage at that age. Up until very recently, there was no question. 6
Mhm.
and 9 was the age at which the marriage took place.
Yeah, now they're
As
going with the Asma age of 17 and 19, isn't it?
17, 18, they come up with all the. You start counting the ages after she hits puberty. Like they've come up with lots of bidder, lots of innovation.
Mhm,
It didn't
mhm.
exist before. It exists now,
There,
and this is
yeah, there is a problem I have with that reasoning.
yeah,
According to Sunni, Bukhari is the most authentic book. They said it's the next book after the Quran. So in the hierarchy of authenticity, Bukhari is at the top.
yeah,
So if this guy gets it wrong, anybody below him is out.
yeah.
Because you cannot go to Siyar A'lam al-Nubala al-Dhahabi, and you cannot go to Ibn Abd Rabbu or Ibn Sa'd, Muhammad ibn Sa'd, to go for Asma'i's age when she died 100 years of age. And he says, the most authentic one said that, but he was wrong, and I'm going to the weakest one. No, it doesn't work this way. Secondly, let's give them Aisha.
Yeah,
It's a special case for Muhammad. You know,
yeah.
like marrying his
Is
son, his daughter, his daughter.
yeah.
It's a special case for him. Let's give him that. The problem is it's still actually in the Quran. The surah 65:4.
Gonna have to open up the Quran. Yes, yeah.
Because and the Arabic, you cannot say anything, because that you know enough Arabic to know there is 3 different word for negation: lam, la, lan. There are 3 different ones. La means they don't ever.
Yeah,
Lan, it means they will not in the future. Lam means they are not yet.
yeah.
So the perfect Arabic book says lam yahidna, meaning they will in the future.
And so
So
this is
it's like,
talking about menstruation for those that I can't remember the ayah, but I know the ayah.
yes,
It's
yeah,
talking about women who haven't yet started
no,
menstruating.
the
So
children.
yeah,
Sorry,
no,
no, no,
exactly.
no.
There's no such thing as a woman who hasn't started menstruating. It's talking about
So not menstruating yet. That's not a woman. That's a child. The other
yeah,
problem is, I think probably one of your friends' friends, the apostate prophet David Wood, is the one who made this
yes.
point quite interestingly. Is it? I had to look it up because I wasn't interested in the whole subject of them at all. The Houris in heaven, وكواعب أترابا. According to Muslim linguistic sources, Ka'ab means 15 years of age. Those are the ones they have for eternity.
I didn't know that. So again, that's
You know, because it's like what you're spending eternity deflowering 15 years old. I'm sorry, I'll pass.
yeah. No, and one of the
Mm,
other things which is crazy when you actually look at the seerah of Muhammad is that he's married to one woman for most of his life, Khadija, who's older than him. Then she passes away, and then he just goes crazy. And he,
Yeah, there is a Lebanese author. His name is Mustafa Juha. I think they killed him. Uh, he wrote a book called محنة العقل في الإسلام. The محنة, the crisis of mind in Islam, or the crisis of nationality in Islam. And he actually took that scene after Muhammad Khadija, his uncle Abu Talib took him to Sigmund Freud to have a discussion about, So, according to Mustafa Joha, it's post Khadija because the 25 years or 20 years age gap. That's why he had Aisha, is because
but then
she
at this,
violated him. She violated him. He was a victim or of the of Khadija. That's Mustafa Joha, and he violated the other one. I'm trying
and
to
the,
find where that book.
but at the same time, by the way, many people don't realize at the same time he's marrying Aisha, he's also marrying Sauda, who's an older woman. He's still younger than him, but much older than Aisha. I mean, teenager is older than Aisha at this point. And this is the stat. And there's machloket, there's confusion amongst the Muslims as to which one did he marry the 6-year-old first, or did he marry?
There is one common phrase when you read about his wives, generally speaking. There is one common phrase you will find, like, tell you about who he's marrying. وَكَانَتْ جَمِيلًا. She was pretty.
Yeah.
That's a very common phrase. You read it about Safiya, you read it about Rihanna, or
Yeah. So they're
except
the two
Sauda.
Jewish ones for the audience. So Hannah was a
Oh
slave,
yeah, yeah,
who he may or
kill
may
her
not have
father,
married.
and
Yeah, and then yeah,
no, Maryam he didn't marry.
no, not my no. With Hannah, there's dispute as to whether he married. So he enslaved her. She was a concubine,
Yeah,
and then there's a question. Some
she
Muslims believe she converted to Islam and he married her, and others say that she remained Jewish and he didn't marry her.
give me a single subject where one subject where you have a unanimous agreement of Muslim what actually it means.
Yeah.
One, there isn't.
So I have a challenge for you. Say
Okay.
something nice about Islam.
I actually, that's not a challenge at all. I love the idea that's how even the Muslim who don't understand anything about it are so loyal to the system, and the half religious one would get up at 5 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning to go pray.
Yeah.
And it's something I wish
Perfect.
Christians do. Is like, yeah, I like that. And I like the idea, again, it's absurd, still like it, that's their starting position is we are right, now let's go and find out why we're right. They start from the position is Islam is right. Why? Let me go and find out. They don't get to that like as a conclusion.
Yeah.
They don't do that. And if you give them an ample evidence, like I had a friend of mine is a very committed Muslim, and he said, if I have scientific, rational, logical, and physical evidence to prove something in the Quran is wrong, I will still believe the Quran.
So I guess this. I know I said. I know I've said this is my final question 9 times now, but this is my final question because I think it's a good one to end on. Is I've been of the belief for maybe almost a decade now that the most sensible strategy any Jewish person can take when dealing with Muslims is to treat them as we would have treated Christians. So if you told my ancestors 500 years ago that our closest friends in 500 years' time will be the Christians, they'd look at you like you were crazy because the Christians were doing untold evil to us 500 years ago.
Absolutely.
And today, they are the most benevolent, kind friends that the Jewish people have. And I've been under the impression you could take a similar approach with Islam. And I've gone even more extreme than that in saying that I think many Jews pick a fight that we'll never win. So I have friends who have
Yes.
big platforms and they use it to attack Islam. And if you attack Islam, there's 2 billion Muslims, deep
Okay.
conviction. And so here's my question. So my question
Mhm.
for you is, my strategy has been one of trying to plant seeds of Zionism amongst the Muslims, show that the state of Israel can coexist theologically with Islam. It's not something I'll ever be able.
Yeah, I've
And
seen you doing that a couple
and
of
so
times.
my rationale there is we're not going to end Islam. Islam, there's 2 billion people. They, as you described, the loyalty that they have, the iman that the ummah, the Muslims have, is
Loyalty and ignorance simultaneously.
yeah, whatever it's there,
Yes, yes.
incredible loyalty and deep faith. One of my favorite videos I ever made was I went around the UK streets with a picture of Haram al Sharif, Masjid al Aqsa, Qubr al Sakhra, the Dome of the Rock, and the Al Aqsa Mosque. And I'm asking Muslims, are you willing to die for Al Aqsa? They're like, yes. I said, okay, can you point to it on this picture? Every single one pointed to the wrong building.
Going to
They
the
pointed
Abdul
at
Malik
the
ibn
dome.
Marwan, yeah.
Exactly. They're willing
But
to die, but
yeah, the funny thing is that actually the whole of Jerusalem has no significant role religiously in the history of Islam. It's Amin al-Husseini who made it religious thing, you know.
yeah, I have
So,
no real strong
but
pushback against that.
anyway,
But
um,
yeah, my
the,
strategy, yeah,
the,
is that a sensible approach,
the,
or do you think
there is
Islam has to be
there is a
defeated?
little there no there there's two things. There is a different problem with the your analogy because remember the first pogrom against Jews in Europe was in 1099 when they raided the crusade, they pogromed the Jews in Germany. But before that, from the third century, Christian theologian was absolutely anti-Semitic, from John Chrysostom
Yeah,
to Andros to you know, and to Hilary, and on and on. It took the people, the laity, 800 years to act on what the theology was saying. So because people were dismissing the accusation of deicide was coming from John Chrysostom in the third century. And people said, that's not true. And the laity rejected. The problem is Islam, the foundation was the text and the people were instrument in it. But it could be actually done in a different way because the level of anti-Semitism in Islam today is actually imported. It's not organic to Islam. Jews had a checkered history with Islam. There is a depends on the ruler. They've been persecuted, they've been massacred, and they lived in relative peace. Second
yeah,
class citizen, but relative peace. It was not the sustained atrocity of European uh,
yeah,
Catholicism. It never was that. So I probably would go with the idea that, guys, you know, you're not actually acting Islam because that was never Islam. That's European anti-Semitism. You're acting like a Christian now because that level of hatred is imported. Again, Amin al-Husseini, Johann von Leers, you know, and all the rest, because we literally, when I was in my teen, the book, not the Protocol of the Elder of Zion, it was the Protocol of the Elder of Zion and the precepts of the Talmud, was translated by Shawqi Abdel Nasser, Nasser's brother. So it was from the highest level on, and because if it was imported, then you can actually say, okay, go back to genuine Islam, as you like to say, which didn't have that level of anti-Semitism. Logically, it didn't, because for Christian first century, for us to be right, for some theologian took it, you must be wrong, because we couldn't post and especially when you start having Greek philosopher becoming Christian. For Christian, they thought theologically, I must defeat the Jews,
Yeah.
otherwise I'm wrong. But when Islam came, you didn't have a state, you didn't have, you were already persecuted minority. So the intellectual and significant enemy for Islam was Christianity.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Jews, and in the cosmic thing, you were an afterthought. So it didn't develop Christian level of anti-Semitism. And so I would think not to act to treat them as Christians, but to point out to them that you are acting as Christians, which is
Like,
scandalous for Muslims.
yeah, I was going to say for a Muslim, that's the worst insult you could give many of those.
Yeah,